Now, G7 leaders have condemned the decision by Russia to send troops into Ukraine, but Moscow says it is going to keep its troops there in the Crimea region until, they say, the political situation has been normalized. Now, last Friday, a Canadian delegation met with Ukraine's new leadership in Kiev. One of those taking part was Conservative MP James Bezan. He joins us right now in our Ottawa studio. Good to see you, Mr. Bezan. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me on the show, Jacqueline.
So you were part of that delegation. At the time, did you anticipate what we now see to be the situation on the ground in the Crimea region?
I guess everyone always thought this was a probability, but we didn't expect it to happen while we were on the ground in Kiev. So it was indeed a shock, and you could really feel the tension in Ukraine while we were there.
And what about Canada? What is our role? What possible action might we take now?
Well, Canada has always been one of the strongest friends and allies of Ukraine. Prime Minister Harper has been out front in condemning this action and supporting the new government and supplying the appropriate aid to Ukraine to help with the care of everyone that was injured during the Maidan protests a week and a half ago. So we are there to support the people of Ukraine. We are there to continue to stand with this interim government as they transition back to presidential elections and empowering the people of Ukraine to select their leadership. So we are definitely concerned about these provocative actions and inflammatory language that's coming from President Putin and the Russian Federation. We ask that they withdraw those forces immediately from the Crimea. This occupation is not at all helpful to the current situation in Ukraine, and they have to respect international law, which is quite clearly laid out that the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Ukraine is the way it is today, and they have to respect that.
But a lot of people say they've already broken the law, so why would anything change on that front? I want to get back to Canada and our role. Some are saying, was it in fact a mistake for Canada to recall the Canadian ambassador to Russia and to pull that ambassador out? And might we also expel the Russian ambassador to Canada? Do you see that happening?
Well, the Russian ambassador has already been called in, and he was demarched by the Department of Foreign Affairs. Asked for him to take back a very strong message to Moscow.
Is that enough, though, Mr. Bezan, or do we need to do more?
As we've said, everything is on the table. If this continues to escalate, the actions that Canada and our allies and like-minded nations will take will increase as well. So we are looking for a diplomatic solution. The common G7 statement that came out yesterday of all G7 nations, putting off the G8 meeting in Sochi, looking at Russia's future involvement in G8 and G7 discussions are all on the table. So if Russia wants to continue to isolate themselves...
But does it make sense? Would it make sense for Canada to expel the Russian ambassador? Or is it better to keep that individual in place because we're trying to still find a solution? What's your personal view on that?
And I should say, but we didn't recall our ambassador. Our ambassador's coming home for discussions and briefings. But, everything's on the table from a diplomatic point of view. And so definitely, expelling an ambassador is always at the prerogative of the government, and it's something that we will consider. Yeah.
All right, James Bezan joining us. He's a Conservative MP. We appreciate this. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Also, this information just coming in. Our Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, has spoken with Ukraine's Prime Minister, and the two leaders obviously talking about the situation in Crimea, as well as other regions in the south and east of Ukraine. Mr. Harper condemning in the strongest terms President Putin's military intervention in Ukraine, also expressing to Ukraine's Prime Minister that Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity has to be respected, and that the people in Ukraine have a right to determine their own future. Mr. Harper also says that Canada is working closely with its partners and allies. And as we know, there is very much a focus right now on possible sanctions. So we're continuing to watch the situation. We'll keep you up to date on that.